ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਲੀਡਰ ਚੁਣਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ 9 ਮਾਰਚ ਤੱਕ ਨਵਾਂ ਲੀਡਰ ਚੁਣਨਾ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਵੀ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਨਾਲ ਕੈਂਪੇਨ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੁੱਖ ਮੁਕਾਬਲਾ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਆ ਫਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਅਤੇ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਵਿਚਾਲੇ ਸਮਝਿਆ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਤੇ ਦੋਵੇਂ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟਸ ਕਈ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਅਨਾਉਂਸਮੈਂਟਸ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਆ ਫਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੰਮੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਇਸ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਲੱਗ-ਅਲੱਗ ਮੁੱਦਿਆਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਚੇਂਜ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣਗੇ ਅਤੇ ਕੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਡਾਇਰੈਕਸ਼ਨ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਨੂੰ ਦੇਣਗੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਖਿਆਲ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕੀਤੇ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਆ ਫਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਨੇ। ਗੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਨਿੰਗ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਆ।
Good morning, Jasvir. How are you doing?
Very good, Chrystia. Thanks for your time today. So, can you start off by outlining what change you would bring to the Liberal Party at this most critical time in party's history?
Absolutely. Look, I'm going to start by saying I think all Canadians know what is the central challenge we face right now. And that is the challenge that President Trump is posing to Canada. I'm really proud of how the whole country stood up when the tariff threats were announced over the weekend and how the whole country said, we are so proud to be Canadian and we're going to stand up for Canada. We're going to fight for Canada. But the threat is still out there in the future. And you know that the last time Trump was president, I led the fight for Canada. And there was a lot of shouting along the way, but in the end, we got a really good deal for our country. And so I am running to be leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister because I know that I can do that again and fight for our amazing country and get a good deal. I also know that the best way for us to ensure that we can win that fight is for us to focus on being strong at home. And so we do need to focus on jobs, on getting investment into Canada, on supporting our young people. I just heard just before this program, you had an ad on your show, and I don't understand Punjabi, but there were enough English words that I could understand that it sounded like a very nice young man was talking about the first home savings account and offering to advise young people on how to use the first home savings account to buy a first home. I'm really proud that as finance minister, I created the first home savings account because I believe that one of the most important challenges for our country is ensuring that young people can buy their first home and start their life. And as Prime Minister, I would focus on getting more homes built faster, making sure that young people can get that first home. The other thing that I did that I would ensure we keep on focusing on is early learning and childcare, $10 a day daycare. I want to be sure that young people can buy a first home, that it is affordable, and that then they can afford to start a family. I'm a mother. I have 3 children. That's the most important thing in my life. And I think that's true for all of us. And we want to be sure that our young people can start a life, can start a family. I am going to fight for Canada in the face of threats we're facing from south of the border. And I'm going to fight for Canadians here at home, for jobs, for homes, for a good life.
Chrystia, you've been part of Trudeau government and now you are trying to distance yourself from Trudeau government's key items such as carbon tax and capital gain tax. Are you saying that every policy decision of last 2 terms was coming from the PMO?
Well, I've Jasvir talked about some of the things that we've done that I'm really proud of, that I think we need to be sure that we keep on doing. I'm a Liberal. I'm proud to be a Liberal, and I'm proud of so many things our government has done. And we need to be very clear about that because we need to remember that Pierre Poilievre would take away a lot of the really good things our government has done. And I'm going to fight to stop him from doing that. There are some things that I disagree with and that I would change as Prime Minister. One of them you mentioned, which is a consumer price on carbon. And for me, that's a question of, as a government, as a political leader, being humble and listening to people. And what I have heard really directly from Canadians is they care about climate change. They want us to do something about it, but they don't like the way that the current system works and puts a price directly on people. And I think in a democracy, to be a good leader, you have to not think you're always right. You have to listen to people. And that's why I was the first candidate in this race to say I would change that.
Many cabinet ministers and Liberal MPs have endorsed Mark Carney for leadership. And I have heard people saying that Mark Carney would just be a different face for Trudeau. The real fight is between Trudeau and Chrystia Freeland. How would you respond to that?
Well, look, Jasvir, what I would say is I'm really grateful to the caucus and cabinet colleagues who are supporting me. And I don't even so much talk about it as endorsing me. I'm trying to build a real team where we work collaboratively together. I think that a top-down approach, sort of a one-man band approach, is not such a good approach, and we need to be a team, and that will help us listen to people. The other thing that I'll say is, at the end of the day, like, this is a race inside the Liberal family, and we are all Liberals. And where I would disagree with you a little bit is who the fight is with. I think the fight is for Canada. It is to defend Canada against unjustified threat from the United States. And the fight is with Pierre Poilievre, because I really believe, to the tips of my fingers and the tips of my toes, that Pierre Poilievre is not able to defend Canada. I don't think he is a person who is able to stand up to Trump. He wants to be Trump's apprentice. He wants to curry favor with Trump. He doesn't want to stand up for Canada with Trump. I know how to do that. I'm ready to do that. I have the experience to do it. And, we talked about young people a minute ago. The most important thing about me is that I'm a mother. And mothers are very warm and loving with their children, and I am. But they are very ferocious when they defend their children. And I, as leader of the Liberal Party and Prime Minister, will be ferocious defending my children, your children, all of Canada. Pierre Poilievre can't do that, and that's why I'm running.
As you mentioned, we are in trade war with the U.S. and Parliament is prorogued. Would you recall Parliament if you become the party leader?
Yes, I would. And that's a really excellent question, because I am a member of Parliament today. I've been elected 4 times by Canadians. If I am chosen to be leader of the Liberal Party, I would become Prime Minister, and I could stand up in Parliament in the front benches and speak for the government, defend the government. My plan, Jasvir, if I am chosen leader of the Liberal Party and the next Prime Minister, would be to say to the opposition parties and to all Canadians, now is not the time for a federal election. Now is not the time to be having internal discussions in our country. Now is the time for national unity, and now is the time to be standing up together to the United States. And I am confident, we do need to have an election, but we have until October for an election. We have a Trump tariff deadline on March 1st and another one on April 1st. And because I have a seat in the House of Commons already, and I have been elected by Canadians 4 times, I could stand up in the House of Commons and say, let's be united as Canadians. Let's be united and face Donald Trump. This is our immediate challenge as a country. And I think I would have the support of the premiers of the provinces and territories in doing that.
And this is my last question. Many commentators say Trudeau government's biggest mistake was its immigration policy. All other problems were the consequences of bad immigration policies. What do you think went wrong with the immigration policies?
I agree with those commentators. I think that there was a surge, particularly of international students. I think that the colleges who brought them here treated them badly and treated Canada badly. And I do agree with you. I think that then put a lot of pressure on housing. It made housing too expensive. So I agree that was something that was wrong, and it is important to correct it.
Any other message you would like to share with Liberal voters?
I would say I am running to be the next Liberal leader and the next Prime Minister of Canada because this is a critical moment for our country. I love our country so much, and I know you love our country so much as well. This is a moment when Canada needs us, when we need to be proud of being Canadian. We need to say we do not want to be the 51st state. We stand for Canada. We fight for Canada. I know that I can get us a really good deal with the United States because I did it last time. I have the experience. I have the plan. I have the determination. And I know that we can be strong by making ourselves stronger and more prosperous here at home, by focusing on jobs, by focusing on housing, by focusing on investment. And I promise you, if you choose me as your leader and the next Prime Minister, I will fight so hard for you. I will work so hard for you.
Thank you, Chrystia. Thanks for your time today.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. ਸੋ ਇਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਕ੍ਰਿਸਟੀਆ ਫਰੀਲੈਂਡ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਲਿਬਰਲ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਲੀਡਰ ਦੀ ਚੋਣ 'ਚ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਲੀਡਰ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਚੁਣਿਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਉਹਨੇ ਅਗਲਾ ਮੁਲਕ ਦਾ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਬਣਨਾ ਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਮਾਰਕ ਕਾਰਨੀ ਦੀ ਟੀਮ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਕਰਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਆਪਣੀਆਂ ਥਾਟਸ ਆਪਣਾ ਵਿਜ਼ਨ ਸ਼ੇਅਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਣ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਦੋਵਾਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਜਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਕੈਂਡੀਡੇਟ ਨੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ 'ਚੋਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਵੀ ਪਾਰਟੀ ਦਾ ਲੀਡਰ ਚੁਣਿਆ ਜਾਣਾ ਉਸਨੇ ਇਸ ਮੁਲਕ ਦਾ ਅਗਲਾ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਮ ਮਿਨਿਸਟਰ ਬਣਨਾ